By the warm glow of the fire in the wooden house, James embraced Dieppe and promised that he would overcome the company's crisis with the new phone he had bought for her studies, while Dieppe held his hand, placing her trust in their love and resilience. In episode 39, it is revealed that John will confront James directly, as Dieppe faces the question of whether she will abandon him amid the piling difficulties of his company, arguably the greatest challenge that will shape the future of their love. Early in the morning, as Dieppe was sitting inside the house, she suddenly heard soft footsteps at the door. Looking up, she saw a slim man in an old brown coat holding a guitar, standing there with a curious look. "Have a drink, please, thank you. By the way, how did you know I was here?" Dieppe was surprised and replied in a gentle voice, "Perhaps it's fate. I was just passing by. Who are you?" The man smiled and said, "My name is Min. The other day at the market I promised to write a song for you, and I've finished it. It's called The Village Girl." Dieppe nodded, her eyes brightening. "I'm Dieppe. Could you sing it for me now?" Min sat down on an old wooden chair inside the house, placing his guitar on his lap. The pale light streaming through the door's gap illuminated his sun-kissed face as he strummed the first chords. His warm, deep voice began. "A little girl in the midst of green fields, orphaned of both father and mother, as the wind blows across the thatched roof, you dream of a day without loneliness." Dieppe listened intently, her vision blurring as tears streamed down her cheeks. The song touched her heart, evoking memories of her orphaned childhood. With a choked voice, she said, "Thank you so much. The song is beautiful. I'm sorry it made me cry." Min paused, a hint of regret in his eyes. "I too was overwhelmed by it, pouring all my emotions into this song. It's all right. It simply mirrors your life, which is why it moved you so." Dieppe nodded softly and said, "I really like this song. Will you give it to me?" Min smiled. "Yes, it's yours. You seem different though. Aren't you local?" Dieppe replied, "I'm here. And you?" Min nodded. "I come from elsewhere, passionate about playing the guitar and nothing else." They chatted for a while. Dieppe then asked, "I heard our teacher say that business can make you rich. Why don't you try it?" Min shook his head. "What matters is that I live for my passion, just as you study to help James." Dieppe nodded, briefly thinking, "I too want to help him." Min stood up. "I have to go now, thank you. I'm heading back." As he left, Dieppe saw that he had forgotten his handkerchief on the chair. She called out, "Hey, you forgot this." Min turned back. "Thank you, I was in a hurry." A few kilometers away, at a pomelo orchard on the outskirts of Tan Minh, James drove his sleek black Ford Raptor, his heart filled with the desire to inspect and assist the workers after receiving troubling news about John's withdrawal of funds from his company, a blow that made him worry for those who depended on him. He parked along a bumpy red dirt road, with the soft morning sunlight piercing through the mist, illuminating the car's shiny paint. Stepping out, his old leather shoes softly clicked on the dew-damp earth. His breath turned to white mist in the early spring chill. His eyes shone, though tinged with tension, as he looked upon the rows of pomelo trees laden with fruit, stretching along the gentle hill. The green pomelos swayed in the breeze, testifying to the workers' diligence. Amidst the lively chatter of the workers, intermingled with the rustling of leaves and distant birdsong from far-off eucalyptus trees, James approached. His tall figure in a thick, dust-stained coat stood out among the faded woolen sweaters of the workers, and in his warm, deep voice, he greeted, "How many bags have you got?" A worker, Mr. Hoa, a tall, slender man in a worn grey sweater, turned with a beaming smile on his sunburnt face. "About 40 bags, boss. Today the pomelos look fantastic." James nodded, his eyes glancing over the neatly stacked pomelo bags by the truck, each plump fruit wrapped in white sacks. "I brought some water for you all, thank you. I know you've worked hard." He opened the Raptor's trunk and took out several bottles of cool spring water, handing one to Mr. Hoa, feeling a warm satisfaction at their smiles. Mr. Hoa accepted the bottle, his voice cheerful. "Thank you, boss. These are A-grade pomelo, very sweet. This year's quality is even better than last year." James bent down and picked up a pomelo, his rough fingers brushing over its glossy green peel, and asked in his deep tone, "How many tons do we have on this hill, Mr. Hoa?" With eyes sparkling with pride, Mr. Hoa replied, "Around 20 tons, boss. It's hard work, but these delicious pomelos are worth it." James nodded, his eyes lighting up as he surveyed the high stacks of produce. In a sincere, deep voice, he said, "Don't worry, everyone. Keep at it. I'd like to see the total yield and quality so I can report back." Bending down, he lifted a bag weighing about 30 kilograms onto the truck. His strong hands handled the load with a hint of surprise. "It's so heavy. Let me help you. Where did you park the truck?" Mr. Hoa laughed heartily, grateful. Thank you, boss. We've been working since 5 a.m. on the hill. James nodded, placing the bag on the truck and wiping the sweat from his brow. In a warm tone, he remarked, "The pomelos are really good this year, maintaining high quality. Well done, everyone." Deep inside, he thought with a mix of determination and worry, "The workers labor so hard. I must save the company so as not to let them down." Turning back, he patted Mr. Hoa on the shoulder. "Keep it up. I will find a way to steady everything." Mr. Hoa responded confidently, "Yes, boss, rest assured. We'll do our best." Along a country lane, Min was sitting on the pavement with his guitar beside him, strumming cheerful chords for the children gathered around him. His eyes bright as the kids laughed merrily. "Do you kids like music? Uncle's gonna play something for you." Suddenly, a tall man in a sleek silver-grey vest entered. A man named Hung, Min's older brother. In a deep voice he said, "Min, isn't it? Why are you here?" Min looked up. "Why aren't you home? Come back, I'm not going anywhere." Hung sighed. "You can't always ignore what our parents want. Dad sent me here to bring you home so you can take over the company, otherwise it will fall into someone else's hands." Min shook his head firmly. "I've already said, I don't like business. I love living for my passion." Hung snapped. "Can passion really pay the bills? Why must you be so careless? There's freedom at home, why not return?" Min replied, "I prefer living on my own terms, not following our parents' plans." Hung sighed again. "There are two of you at home. If you don't come to help, the company will be lost. Is that guitar more important than our parents?" Min nodded. "That's not it, but I won't come. Mother is seriously ill, and you should go take care of her." Hung left, and Min quietly thought to himself, "I'm sorry, but I have my own life." In a nearby rice field beside the farm, Deep was planting rice, her hands buried in the cold, muddy earth. With focused eyes, she carefully transplanted each seedling, thinking, "Today I'll finish early so I can call James and confide in him." She reassured herself, "He's having difficulties. I must be there for him." At noon, after assisting the workers at the pomelo orchard, James drove his sleek black Ford Raptor off the hill, feeling relieved to see the neatly arranged quality pomelo bags loaded onto the truck. The soft sunlight filtered through the car's windows, making him squint slightly. Yet his brief joy was quickly overtaken by thoughts of his company teetering after John's withdrawal of funds. The bumpy red dirt road vibrated beneath the wheels, with dust swirling behind him, and he murmured to himself, "The workers work so hard. I must save the company so I don't let them down." Suddenly his phone rang from his jacket pocket, interrupting his thoughts. He answered with a heavy, deep voice, "Hello, Tong. Have you reached your destination?" Tong responded from the other end, his voice steady yet tinged with worry. "All right, I'm at Kin Bin's drink shop now. Haven't kept you waiting long, have I?" James nodded, his eyes scanning the road ahead. "Not long. I just arrived." He parked in front of the small roadside drink shop, stepped out with his old leather shoes clicking on the ground. The dim yellow light from the shop's aged hanging lamps illuminated a worn wooden table, and the aroma of roasted coffee mingled with the gentle breeze from the nearby fields. He sat down and ordered a glass of iced coffee. When Tung entered, James warmly invited him. "Please, have a drink. Thank you. What did you need to discuss today?" Tung sat opposite him, the soft light highlighting his tanned face, and began in a deep tone, "Do you know John? I only know him in passing. He invested in the Tuen Sun hydropower project, right?" James nodded sharply, his eyes narrowing as he looked at Tung, his deep voice steady. "Yes. Since John pulled funds from my company, all other shareholders have also withdrawn. Only you haven't yet. What do you know about him?" Tung took a sip of his drink, his eyes reflecting hesitation, and replied slowly, "He messaged me on Zalo, then on Facebook, offering many benefits for me to withdraw my funds. But I believed you wouldn't do that. From what I gather, he has been living in Thailand for a long time and only recently returned to Vietnam. He invested in several of your small companies, and then suddenly pulled out, rallying the other shareholders to abandon you as if it were a premeditated plan." Clenching his cup, James's eyes darkened as he asked, "Do you know anything else? Who is he to do such a thing?" Tung shook his head, his tone deep. "I'm not sure. He's been elusive, appearing and disappearing. But one thing I know for certain is that he is targeting your family, possibly linked to some old affair." James nodded, his eyes a mix of worry and determination. "I haven't told my father yet. I want to handle this on my own, even though this project is my responsibility. Please send a message back to John, agreeing to his terms, then arrange a meeting so I can see who he really is." Tung agreed solemnly. "I'll follow your plan, but be cautious. He's not an ordinary person. He might even be an enemy of your father. Tung then stood up and patted James on the shoulder. I must go now. Goodbye. James remained seated, tension surging like waves, silently wondering, what is John's true scheme? I must find out. The door of the drink shop opened once again, and a tall, slender man in a silver-grey vest stepped in. His cold eyes swept past James, who instantly recognized him. It was Mr. Duke, the timber supplier from earlier. But the man's deep voice surprised him. You're Duke, aren't you? I am the one you've been looking for. James, taken aback, widened his eyes, and in a troubled, deep tone asked, Who are you? With a thin, chilling smile, John Ateliers, Mr. Duquesne replied. I am John. What do you want? Take a guess. James, his eyes now resolute despite the turmoil within, inquired in a low voice, What is your purpose? Why are you targeting me? John sat down opposite him, his hands folded on the table, and said in a cryptic tone, I want your family to pay the price. Don't ask me. Ask your father, then you'll understand. I've already said this is only the beginning. James clenched his fist, a storm of confusion and anger rising within him. What has my father done for John to target me? What is really happening? Rising to his feet, his deep voice firm, he declared, I will find out the truth. John's cold laugh echoed, We shall see. James left, his heavy footsteps echoing on the earth as he stewed with disquiet. I must confront John, but first I need to ask my father. That evening, after Deep finished transplanting rice under the fading sunset, she went to the landlord's house to collect her $10 wage and bought 4 eggs. Her old rubber slippers squeaked on the red dirt road as she headed back to the small wooden house. Inside, the soft light of the oil lamp shone upon a worn wooden table. She cooked rice in an old crackle of pot, the aroma of country rice mingling with the soft crackle of the stove fire. Haki, the small, fluffy brown dog, lay curled up nearby, his wide eyes watching her as she set the bowl on the floor. She set aside a portion for him, feeling a twinge of sadness as she wondered what James was doing at that moment. Haki, so well behaved, stayed by her side when he knew James was busy. Stroking Haki's soft fur as he rested his head on her hand, she consoled herself. Haki knows when I'm sad, always staying with me just like James. After reading a book taught by Teacher Han, with Haki lying at her feet and his little head resting on her slipper, she called James. Hello, this is Deep. When he answered, she asked, What are you doing? James replied, I'm handling some business at the company. Everything's all right. What about you? Deep explained, I just finished transplanting rice. I wanted you to come and have a meal with me, but if you're busy, please go ahead with your work. James apologized. I'm a bit busy. Next time I'll come over. Do take care in your studies. How's Haki? Deep laughed, watching Haki give a long yawn. He's very well behaved. He's here with me. I'll do my best, and you take care of yourself too. James replied, I will, please understand. She hung up, stroking Haki's head and thinking with concern, even if my company is in trouble, I won't leave him. I won't abandon him, especially when Haki is here to keep me company. When John confronts James and Deep decides to stay by his side, will these new challenges shake them? Stay tuned for episode 40, which will reveal their love facing James's 5-year prison sentence, as Deep is confronted with life-altering decisions. Find out what happens next.
Giờ đây đã có chút ánh sáng nhờ sự xuất hiện của CEO Jam, người đàn ông giàu có với trái tim ấm áp. Nhưng khi tình yêu thương đã tưởng chừng đã chạm đến trái tim cô, một bóng đen từ quá khứ lại hiện về, kéo theo những nghi ngờ và nỗi sợ hãi. Liệu trái tim Diệp có đủ dũng cảm để đón nhận hạnh phúc, hay cô mãi bị giam cầm trong chính những vết thương lòng không lành? Câu trả lời nằm trong những giờ khắc cảm xúc của tập 13 này. Chúc các bạn nghe truyện vui vẻ. Diệp đứng giữa cánh rừng thưa, nơi những chiếc lá rong xanh mướt rủ xuống như những tấm rèm tự nhiên. Ánh nắng đầu ngày xuyên qua tán cây, chiếu lên khuôn mặt cô những vệt sáng mờ nhạt, làm nổi bật đôi mắt trầm buồn. Hôm nay cô quyết định đi hái lá rong để bán. Một công việc đơn giản nhưng đủ để cô cảm thấy mình còn giá trị trong cuộc sống đầy bất ổn này. Trong lòng cô, một ý nghĩ lặp đi lặp lại. Như tiếng gió rít qua rừng, cô cần tiền không chỉ để sửa sang trang trại mà Giam đã cho cô ở nhờ, mà còn để chứng minh rằng cô có thể tự đứng vững, không còn phụ thuộc vào